And welcome back to the Voice of Metal, where we talk about all things metal or the voices of metal with the people in the music industry. I'm hoping that each and every one of you out there has had a wonderful holiday season and also hopefully a happy new year coming up here soon, which we're getting really close to that once in a lifetime thing that happens. Well, I should say what happens once a year every year, that we get a little bit older and a little bit wiser and we get more knowledge of music and everything else in our lives and life experiences. Which actually I do know after being through a lot of stuff over the last 50 years of my life. Um, I've grown quite a bit. I've changed quite a bit. I've also expanded my horizons with different metal bands. And I'm hoping that I can do the same for you. And if you're not a metal fan out there, I'm hoping to convince you that metal is much more than just noise, but has a very important message. Because to me, that's what it is. And the people behind it will probably tell you the same thing. And that's what I'm hoping for. So if you are a smaller band and would like to get on my channel, I would love to have you to talk about you, your music a little bit, and maybe some of the motivating factors, sorry, for your music itself. So it'd be awesome to hear from you guys out there. I would love to know what you guys are all about and what kind of music that you guys have. And maybe it's a unique and different sound that maybe somebody might enjoy out there. And who knows, you might actually find a few new fans out there. So I'm hoping that this is my message to everybody out there that's in a band that would like to talk to me and share your story with everybody out there, and all my subscribers so far. So, and I'm so happy for those people and happy that they're here. So I appreciate each and every one of them. And if you haven't yet, please don't forget, like and subscribe. It does mean a lot and it does make an impact on the channel very much. Um, Now we are going to start off on some of the top 25 thrash metal bands, or I should say albums. Um, it says tributes, but it's actually the albums. Because I've been looking down through different types of lists that people have on here. This is through Loudwire itself. They actually have top 50, but I'm only going to do the top 25. So you know. Um, the first one, or I should say number 25, we're going to go 25 down, is Destruction from Infernal Overkill, which that's kind of interesting. I know there's an Overkill, but I'm not sure if that's the same as Infernal Overkill. So that'd be kind of interesting to find out if that is the same band or if there are two different bands. I'm assuming it probably is, but I'm not sure. This one was originally known as the Night of the Demon. German's Destruction didn't have a luxury of record layers or producers for most of its the 1980s. That's interesting, but it didn't stop them from smearing a big old bloody mark upon the thrash metal scene. The trio, bassist, vocalist, guitarist Mike, and drummer Tommy Sandsman unleashed an absolute scourger in 85, sorry. Infernal Overkill, forging a change back to Venom and Motorhead via burners like Visible Force, Tormentor, and Black Death. So this sounds like it probably is more than likely a different metal band out there that's not quite Overkill. So it might be something unique and something different. So who knows? Check it out. See what they're all about. Because I don't think I've heard of them. I've heard of Overkill and a few other bands that are kind of close like that. I think there's Infernal too, but I'm not sure. That's just called Infernal, but I'm not positive on that one. Number 24 is Suicidal Tendencies, Lights, Camera, and Revolution from the 1990. Suicidal Tendency is fashioned one of the greatest skate core records of all time. Their epic debut, but 7 years and 3 albums. They've infected by the thrash bug, where taking no prisoners with a 1990s lights camera revolutions fueled by Mike Rance and Rocky George's blasting percussion. Tracks like You Can't Bring Me Down, which I love. Lovely, definitely. Send Me Your Money, which is a definite wow. I love that one too. We're all on top of the we're all top of the line songs from that album. And there's a lot more where that come from this album, so don't miss this album. Suicidal Tendencies is like by far one of the all-time best bands, along with some others. Typo Negative is another one that's really good too. It's not thrash metal, I don't think, but they are definitely good out there. Along with that, because I know somebody that does that personally. Oh, and that reminds me, don't forget to click the link here or the QR code here, because the fact that you will be taken to a website with some wonderful art. And the art is from a musical artist that had an operation, and she needs some extra help from you guys. So if you could help her out, that would be great. I would love to have that to help support her. I've been trying to push that through my channel. Even if nobody watches it now, it might be later on. Who knows? And maybe she'll recoup some of those costs, because she does have health insurance like I do. And yeah, so I'm hoping that that will help her in her surgery with her eyes and stuff like that, because she's already done one eye. She's got to do another, which is, I don't know what's going on with that. It's kind of crazy, especially with her being a musician and artist. That, yeah, out of all the things that happen to somebody. Moving on to number 23, Nuclear Assault, Handle with Care from 1989. A Nuclear Assault was formed by Ursula Anthrax roadie John Connell. So I guess that was before, when he was in Anthrax then, and now he probably did this afterwards, I'm assuming. With bassist Danny Liker, or Linker maybe, with drummer Glenn Evans and shredder Anthony. I'm not sure what his last name is, but anyway. So in the early works, they've never lacked for chops of professionalism, but arguably 1989's Handle with Care that brought everything together for those New Yorkers, thanks to the spirited mutation of political commentary and satire, the naturally fueled by wanton velocity. Okay, interesting. It's kind of an interesting way of describing an album. Anyway, Void. Okay, now this one I am not positive on. Void, I think is how you say it. Killing Technology is 1987, which is quite a while ago, actually, for an album. It's interesting, so I'm going to have to check that one out for sure, because I was pretty young then. There was always something a little different, unique about Voided, but not just because they came from an unlikely locale of Canada. In Quebec, basically. I'm not sure how to pronounce the town's name. From day one, the band's imaginative vision was held back only by technical limitations. See 1984's very rough War and Pain, and once they got started overcoming these 1987 sci-fi thrashing Killing Technology, Voided, I can't say that, were on the way of peerless careers, also always on heavy metal cutting edge. So we'll see. Let me make sure I said that right.
Voivod.
Voivod. Okay, Voivod is the actual pronunciation of the group. Okay, number 21 is Slayer, which definitely doesn't surprise me at all. Show No Mercy from 1983. Slayer's punk rock influence has readily apparent on their thrill-free debut, Show No Mercy, which hardly gave a hint of innovation still to come. But left the little debut of the band's potential to shock and awe. The instant favors like Black Magic, Evil Has No Boundaries, Die by the Sword has validated the young group's natural songwriting prowess and made Slayer's thrash metal bands to a beat alongside Metallica, which is going to be up next year, it looks like. Or is that? Okay, yeah. But anyway, I didn't think there was a thrash, but maybe they are. Because I'm still learning some of the different ones out there that may be, this, that, or the other. But anyway, number 20 is Injustice for All 1988. While reinventing their sound as they would on the Black Album and Load, Metallica simply went more and more on their fourth album, Injustice for All, by proving that more is not always better. Still, pretty darn good, though, because no one in their right minds would dare suggest the new songs like Blackened One and Harvester of Sorrow were on the top of the line of thrashers, though simply replicated some fantastic old tricks. Yeah. Anyway, that's crazy. It's my fan. Anyway, this reminds me that I've talked about this before with Lars. Oh no, Cliff Burton being in the band. From what I know and what I've understood is that he did have just a little bit writing in this album, and Justice for All, and that's why a lot of people, I think, from and Justice for All and afterwards, they didn't think it was as good. But the Black Album was one of their most popular albums, so I don't know. This is the one that they had. They didn't have Cliff Burton writing any songs in it. They didn't have Dave Mustaine in there, and they had Jason as their bass player. It's kind of rather interesting. So it's kind of surprising. And that's kind of the first album I had ever heard from them because that was the one that was left behind. And that's what got me on my so-called metal journey. That was my how you say, my drug that got me into the hardcore stuff that I'm into now, like Decapitated and all these other bands and, Slayer and Morbid Angel, Lamb of God and all this other stuff and even Cavalier Brothers, it's awesome with Sepultura. So yeah, I can't not pass that one up. That's like probably my one and only major, how you say, got me into the metal, real metal, not the hair band stuff, but the real hardcore stuff, right? Which is cool. Anyway, sorry to go on like that. Number 19 is Creator, Extreme Exaggeration. No, sorry, Extreme Aggression in 1989. Creator finally attended a broader recognition on a global scale with their fourth album, Extreme Aggression, which is notably picked up by major ep- major epic label Epic from U.S. distribution, but Millie Pizzoe and his boys compromised not one bit in return, continuing to blast on all cylinders with highlights like Betrayer, No Reason to Exist, and Fatal Energy, and the all-timer of little tracks, whatever, thrash, whatever. Anyway, number 18 is Testament, The New Order, 1988. Turn that off. I think I might have done this list, but I don't remember. To be honest, I might have. I just relabeled it, so shh, don't tell nobody. Um, now that you've listened to this, Testament, The New Order, 1988. Testament's sophomore effort, The New Order, was really more than the same of their debut. The Legacy. But the same was oh so great as evidence is decapitating cuts like Trial by Fire, Into the Pit, and colossal Stephen King's inspired Disciple of the Watch. Oh, the band has only gained confidence with vocals Chuck Billy blowing out windows with his gravelly roar and Alex is growing his guitar hero role. Okay. Testament's really good. They got some really good stuff out there. I don't know if I've heard this one. I know I've heard a lot of their other albums, so we'll see what happens here. So let's see here. What's the next one here? Number 17 is Coroner, which is Grin. I know I've talked about this one before, so that makes me wonder if this is one I've heard before. But I don't think it is. I think this isn't the same list, but I could be wrong. If Rush had been born a thrash metal band, they might have sounded a lot like Switzerland's Corner, which is comprised of three virtuous former members of Celtic Frost, which I know about,